and welcome back to the Winfield Public Library Summer Reading Programs. Today we are going to be decorating a flag. And do you know whose birthday it is this year? And why did I say this year? Not just today, but the whole year we're celebrating the Winfield town's 100th birthday. So we're going to be making a flag to celebrate, and we're going to put them outside. So if you live close to Winfield Public Library, and there are still supplies, you can pick up one of these awesome flags and some permanent markers. If you missed it, we're watching this a little bit later, and they don't have any more craft bags, then you can go ahead and you can either just use a piece of fabric or a piece of plastic, same thing works, and permanent markers. It is important to use permanent markers for this project because if it's outside and it rains, if you use washable markers, it'll run, which could still look really pretty, but we want it to stay intact. So the first thing we're gonna do, grab our supplies, and we're gonna write up our draft. Now I wanna include something to commemorate the 100 years, so let's brainstorm together some ideas for our flag. Let's go get started.
So we're going to start off with drafting up 2 different ideas, and then you can pick your favorite one. I'm going to come up with my own 2 ideas. You're more than welcome to come up with your own or go off of one of mine. But I always recommend you're an artist and express yourself. You might use mine as inspiration, but kind of take it in your own way. There's no right and wrong answer when it comes to art. So don't be worried if yours doesn't look like mine. I always tell my students that's a good thing. So I'm going to be using the Winfield Centennial logo as inspiration. I'm going to put them both up on the screen, and you can kind of see which one you like more, or you don't need to include it, but just kind of have that inspiration of a 100-year birthday.
So I recommend you do your draft in pencil. That way if you make any mistakes, you can erase it. But I'll be doing mine in marker just so you can see it a little bit easier. And just because you do something in your draft doesn't mean when you take your flag that you have to do it that way. So I'm going to start by doing my logo, and I'm deciding on my first draft that I want my logo in the middle but at the bottom, and I'm drawing my lamp post. Now I recommend you don't do a lot of detail, you kind of keep it a little simple, that way you're not so worried when you get to the flag. And think about this as a collaboration with your family. And then I'm thinking about doing some wildflowers around it. And then from there I could add more, or I could just kind of play with a background of abstract colors is what I'm thinking. So I'm going to move on to my second one. For this one I'm going to do the other logo where it's mostly just words with its small lamp post. And again, I'm thinking about maybe flowers down here. This was more up towards the top. So maybe I'll have some wildflowers growing up. Remember, this is a draft, so you don't have to be super detailed on it. But do think about your space and your composition. And I'm just using black for my little example. But I could do this on my final with lots of colors. And maybe we could think of something at the bottom to represent your family, or maybe what Winfield means to you, lots of different options. But I'm pretty happy with my first 2 drafts, and like I said, your final one on your actual flag could be different. Now, since the flags are see-through a little bit, we can put our draft underneath and we could trace. So until you're happy with your draft, I'd recommend, keep working on it, and then we can put that over.
So I've decided I like elements of both. I like the lamppost on my first draft, and then I like the wildflowers of this one. So I'm actually going to be doing a mixture of both. So I'm going to start by doing my lamppost. I'm going to do that in my black marker. And then I'm going to have like a yellow inside like the lamp is on. So I'm just tracing. Now, do you know that your markers will run a little bit on your flag? So don't hold your marker in one place for too long because it will run. And if you want emphasis on one thing, go over that again. So I'm going to go over my 100. And I can see that my ink is running quite a bit, so I might not even write the word Winfield. I'm going to wait on that. I might do it in a different color. So I decided that I'm going to do it in a fine tip permanent marker. And I'm going to do it the same color that I'm doing inside the lamppost. Might be a little bit hard to see, but I don't mind that. And then I'm kind of going to give this a little bit of a glow. I'm thinking about like as if it was on. And I don't mind if some of the white of the flag shows through. I don't want it to be like fully colored in. So I'm happy with how that's looking so far. Now I'm going to go ahead and work on my flowers. But I do want to think about the whole entire flag, so like the height of it as well. And I do like how these lines look, so I might do a lot more drawing like that. Play around with your flag and see what kind of technique looks the best for you. Play with layering your colors. In this flower here, I did yellow, orange, and pink. And you can go ahead and just have fun with how you're putting your colors down. Don't be afraid to mix your colors on the flag. And you can see that I'm glad I had some paper underneath because it actually bled on to my paper. So you might want to be careful when you're working with your permanent markers. Put a paper underneath. So I'm going to do a couple of these flowers that kind of were my favorite. I'm going to put them around. Again, playing with the layering of my colors. Remember, you can use anything on your flag that is permanent. So if you have other markers at home or paint, anything that is not going to wash away, you can use. And now I'm just playing with different lines, and I'm really going to just embrace what the markers are letting me do. Play with overlapping, putting things behind and on top. Really think about your space and your composition. Now I'm going to use my wildflower long ones for my entire rest of the flag, and I'm going to leave this kind of loose kind of drawing technique. So that way I don't have to worry about making mistakes. I can let myself just embrace the fun of the flag. So now I'm in the top, I have a lot of white, and I do like how it's looking, but I think I'm going to do like a kind of like radiating sky, and then kind of like Van Gogh-esque with my background. So I'm going to use a wide tip, and I'm just going to do some lines in the background. I'm not going to worry too much about where I'm putting them. I am going to layer some colors. And you could test this on your draft first to make sure you like this technique. I'm just going to let myself go. Think about different lengths of lines too. And think about this top section. And I'm not pressing very hard because I don't want it to be terribly dark. I might do a little bit of blue now. And I'm going to let the blue work into the yellow. I just want there to be a little bit of color in my background. Now you could have done this first and then put your stuff on top. And I'm going to layer in some other shades as well. And there we go. I am happy with my centennial birthday celebration flag.
So I hope you had fun making your Winfield celebration birthday flag. I really like how mine turned out. The other thing I liked is because I let it bleed through a little bit, both sides look good, so when you hang it up, it'll look great from either side of people seeing it. So one thing I do think, maybe if I would have worked a little bit more on my draft, maybe I would have made this bottom part bigger to fill up more, but I really do enjoy how loose I let myself create. And I think it looks great from a distance, and I also think it looks nice up close as well. So I hope you had fun, and remember, if you made a flag, we'd love to see it. So please, please, please take a picture of it in your yard and post it to the Winfield Public Library's page and tag me, Choate Studio, because I'd love to see them, and I can't wait to see them all over Winfield. Now remember, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe so you get notified every time the Winfield Public Library posts a new video, and I hope to see you for the next craft. Bye, friends!